Let's have a look at the fundamentals of coffee preparation. There are 4 fundamentals that we can analyze in the preparation of coffee. Each one of these elements plays a vital role in the successful execution of the perfect cup of coffee. Let's have a brief look at these core coffee principles: proportion, the grind, extraction, and freshness. Firstly, proportion. Proportion means the relationship of one thing to another in terms of quantity or ratio. In coffee preparation, it is essential to use the right proportion of coffee to water. This is the most important step in making great coffee. Secondly, we have the grind. This is the crushed particles of the coffee bean. The grind relates directly to the length of the brewing process. So, very short brewing processes need a very fine grind, while long brewing processes need a more coarse grind. Different brewing methods have different grind requirements. So, you need to grind your coffee to suit the brewing method that you use. The amount of time the coffee and water spend together will affect the flavor elements that end up in the cup of coffee. And the design of your coffee maker will dictate just how long the coffee and water sit in direct contact with one another during the brewing process. The third fundamental is extraction. The colorless, transparent, odorless, and tasteless liquid that is essential in the production of the perfect cup of coffee is water. We always need to use fresh, cold water, heated to just off the boil. A cup of coffee is generally 98% water, and we must never forget this. Therefore, the water that you use to make your coffee should taste clean, fresh, and be free of any impurities. Water heated to just off the boil, which is between 88 to 93 degrees Celsius, is perfect for extracting the coffee's full range of flavors. Any cooler and the water can't adequately extract all of those flavors. We are lucky in that our automatic coffee makers will heat the water for us, but we always need to make sure that the one we are using gets the water hot enough. No one ever wants a lukewarm cup of coffee. Finally, the fourth fundamental is freshness. Fresh is described as new, as recently created. In coffee, freshness is a factor all along the bean to cup chain. The green or raw coffee needs to be fresh before you roast it. The roasted coffee needs to be fresh before you grind it. And the ground coffee needs to be fresh before you brew it. In coffee preparation, it is vital to use freshly roasted and freshly ground coffee. We need to think of coffee as fresh produce or a perishable. The enemies of coffee are oxygen, light, heat, and moisture. To keep coffee fresh, store it in an opaque, which is not see-through, airtight container at room temperature. For the best results, coffee should be ground just before brewing. Whole bean coffee stays fresh for longer because there is less surface area exposed to oxygen. By grinding these beans each time that you brew, freshness is preserved. If you remember these 4 important components each and every time you prepare a cup of coffee, the rest will fall into place and you will have set yourself up beautifully to make the most fantastic coffee for your guests every